This is huge for the Rams as we are sitting and discussing day 2 of practice for the Rams star quarterback Matthew Stafford, what he looked like, what Sean McVay had to say about it, as well as the future of the quarterback position and the slightly positive news we got on that, all on today's episode for the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button now, as roughly 64.8% of you guys are watching the videos already, but you're still not pressing that subscribe button. All I'm saying is if you're already watching, might as well press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, I do want to get into this story right away because we have quite a bit to talk about when we're talking about the Matthew Stafford front, Matthew Stafford's general update on how he looked in practice, what Sean McVay saying about it, and all that good stuff. It's very important, right? I know a lot of people are kind of tired of having this conversation already, right? But ultimately, it's important to discuss, right? When we talk about the Rams and the idea of them making the Super Bowl, well, it's not really happening, or nobody really expects them to have real hopes for a Super Bowl if their starting quarterback, their star, superstar quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback, if you will, Matthew Stafford is not ready to go, right? So Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford able to practice second day in a row. He's here stacking days. It's very important, a very key note to make on the Rams and what it's looking like for their season this year. This comes to us from Gary Klein, the staff writer. And so ultimately, I know a lot of people, like I said, are tired of talking about it. It is the most important, and if not the kind of ultimate story for the Rams going into this season, because if Stafford's not healthy, are you really going to have a real chance in winning the Super Bowl? Now, I know we're not really too concerned about Jimmy Garoppolo stepping in for a game or two, but, you know, we need him to be healthy. And when we're talking about his back, it's definitely very concerning. We'll hear from Sean McVay on that in a second. But Matthew Stafford's second day of practice lacked the anticipation and drama of the first, but Tuesday's performance was a milestone nonetheless for the star quarterback and a Rams team with designs on a Super Bowl. Interesting way to frame that. The biggest takeaway, Stafford's injured back responded positively to Monday's 1-hour workout, and that enabling the 17th-year pro to play with even more confidence as the Rams prepare for their September 7th opener against Houston. So that's kind of the note there, right, to make, right? He responded well to a 1-hour workout. Now, going back to just a week ago, we saw him have a very good, positive 60-pass attempt workout, and that really, he didn't respond well to that come Monday at practice, right? Which is why he wasn't at practice last week. So that is a very positive change, right? To go from, you know, responding not well to now all of a sudden having a 1-hour workout in practice and responding well by working out the second day consecutively and looking pretty solid while doing so. Nothing perfect, which we'll discuss in a second from another staff writer or from someone else who writes about the Rams. But for now, Sean McVay, when he's discussing this situation, very, you know, kind of PC, I guess, PR, correct answer, whatever you want to say. Nothing really too crazy here, but he says backs can be a volatile thing. This is definitely positive progress. It certainly is trending in a positive direction for us. So it's good news there. Nothing really crazy, groundbreaking, but it's good news to hear about this. It's a positive to go from not practicing at all to back-to-back days now stacked, and it looks pretty good so far. That is definitely a positive, but I think we have to listen to kind of Sean McVay and everybody else in this situation and say, look, let's take it a day at a time. Let's not get too excited that he's stacked days back-to-back. Let's kind of wait and see how he actually responds over time. Let's see if he's actually looking back into his Hall of Fame gunslinger kind of form. Let's wait and see what happens over the next couple of weeks, taking it a day at a time. Not expecting him to practice, by the way, or play in preseason at all, because it's not really something you expect your quarterback of 17 years to do, or your 17-year pro quarterback to do. But, you know, seeing how he responds over the next couple of weeks is really key to kind of take note of. What I saw at Rams practice, Matthew Stafford's second day back. This comes to us from Brock Vieira, who's obviously there watching and reporting on Matthew Stafford. These are some kind of notes and keys here to just kind of key in on and kind of hear from someone who's actually looking at Stafford every single day to see what it's looking like, right? So he says Stafford also displayed rust. He missed a few passes thrown against air that he would typically hit and wasn't able to consistently fire the football into tight spaces like he usually does. Some of the timing was messed up, and it wasn't a typical operation to Stafford standards. Stafford played well and is able to operate as a game manager. However, it's going to take some time to get him back to the gunslinger form we all know and love. Do not panic. This is his second team session since June, so keep that in mind. The Rams, as Sean McVay stated, are being cautious with their usage of Stafford, so it's not like he's getting a bunch of reps from the jump. This is a process, but the pieces are starting to fit. So I'm holding off opinions on his play until next week. And to be frank, even with everything, Stafford still throws like a top 15 quarterback. So good news here from Brock Vieira, who's watching him, saying, look, let's relax. It wasn't perfect. It's not beautiful, perfect, pretty yet. But there's reasons behind why it doesn't look that way yet. So let's be patient on that front. He did say positive stuff as well. I talked about the negative right away. But I'm pretty sure he has some positive stuff here to say. So he also said this, right? Well, what we weren't seeing were the more difficult throws, downfield passes, outside passes, back shoulder throws, fitting balls into holes instead of windows. We got a chance to see that, and the results were varied. Stafford did find Tutu Atwell down for a downfield score, where Atwell hit a beautiful move on his route with the ball being mid-air as soon as Atwell accelerated into open space. He also hit Puka Nacua several times. Several nice throws with Nacua, seemingly taking another Stafford toss to the house, having done so on Monday. It should be noted as well, by the way, very important key here, Davante Adams did not practice with the team due to a scheduled day off, so he's not practicing with Davante Adams yet. That's going to be his number one receiver, maybe number two receiver. Either way, they're going to have a nice rapport as the season goes along. So a lot of things to note here in this situation. The overall takeaway is let's be patient, let's relax, let's kind of wait and see what happens. Just a little bit of an update for you guys. Here's day 2. Let's see how day 3 looks. Don't want to make it the full video every single time, but day 2 was kind of a key note to kind of really talk about, I think, today, because we're seeing how is he responding from day 1 of practice, right? So we'll kind of wait and see on how he looks the rest of the preseason and give you guys updates as it kind of goes along. Moving on from Matthew Stafford, though, and we could talk about it later, but you guys let me know in the comment section. How are you feeling? Are you a little more confident now that Matthew Stafford will be ready week 1? Do you want him to play week 1? Do you want him to take it slow? How are you feeling about Matthew Stafford in general? Give me a comment down below in the comment section. Let's see how you guys are feeling, generally speaking, on Matthew Stafford. Moving on from that, for the future of the quarterback, right? We're talking about Matthew Stafford now dealing with the back, not practicing, concern. Some people in the comments saying go get a quarterback, all that good stuff. And so I think it is kind of valid to say, okay, this is kind of crazy. All this stuff going on is a little bit wild with Matthew Stafford. So, let's look at the future a little bit, right? Is Stafford going to be here for 10 more years? Probably not. So let's look at the future of the quarterback position and what that's looking like. Here's some quick news on this. Rams get good news about highly coveted quarterback target amid Matthew Stafford's return. And so we're talking about Matthew Stafford. He's returning to practice. He's looking good, cool, whatever. But we're dealing with those issues. We're dealing with the issues of a 37-year-old quarterback that we expected to kind of deal with. He's dealing with the back. He doesn't look too great right now. We're trying to see if he can stay healthy. That's a valid concern as how his back's going to hold up throughout the regular season. So ultimately, Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer. As good as Stetson Bennett has been in this preseason, he's probably not the answer as well. So what is your future of the quarterback position going to look like? Life after Matthew Stafford. Can we think about that? Is it going to be a guy like this guy right here that we're going to talk about? Is it going to be Arch Manning? Well, here's some quick bad news that kind of made people a little bit worried about this. Happened a couple weeks ago or so. Here is Andy Staples. He's talking on a podcast, talking about what Archie Manning had to say about Arch Manning declaring for the draft, if that makes any sense. So Arch Manning, Texas quarterback, going to hopefully, declare for the draft very soon. That's what the Rams want. The Rams would love to see him in the draft next year because they have 2 first-round picks. Could potentially, possibly find their way to get the first overall pick. Hopefully, right? That's their hope at least. But regardless, Arch Manning possibly declaring for the draft next year. Archie, his grandfather, says Arch isn't doing that. He's not doing that. Apparently, no matter what, he wants to play 2 years, blah, blah, whatever. That's his grandfather saying this. NFL legend, by the way, NFL legend grandfather saying this about Arch. And so that's kind of like, okay, raises the eyebrows a little bit. Maybe the Rams won't get a chance to bring in a guy like Arch Manning next season. Again, we have to still wait and see if he's even going to have a good season or not. But if he does have a great season, like we all kind of anticipate at this point, the Rams may not be able to draft him if he doesn't declare for the draft, right? You see this tweet here talking about it as well. What if he throws for 4,000 yards and wins a Heisman? Yeah, what if he wants to do that again, right? So what if he wants to go try to win another Heisman Trophy? Maybe he doesn't want to declare. Maybe his family, Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, maybe they're telling him, hey, you know what? You should probably just start 2 years in college. It'll be better for you in your career. So that's kind of the sense we're getting from the Manning family at this point, hearing Archie Manning say this. However, the positive update comes where they just straight up asked Arch Manning, hey, your grandpa said this the other day. What's up with that? Are you actually going to go back to Texas no matter what happens to you next year? Texas quarterback Arch Manning asked about Archie Manning's comments about Arch for sure being at Texas for 2 years. I don't have his quote here on the tweet, but he essentially said, I don't know where he got that from. He did text me on the side. My grandpa texted me on the side and said, I'm sorry I said that. Sorry about this being a question you now have to answer in the media. Sorry I even brought that up. But Arch is basically saying, I don't know why he said that. I don't know where he got that from. We're taking this a day at a time. And I think that kind of more alludes to, hey, if I go next year to Texas and I throw 4,000 yards and I look pretty good and I'm the number 1 overall draft pick for sure next year, I'm probably going to consider declaring for the NFL draft. And I think that's kind of where his perspective is at this point. Taking it a day at a time is really just kind of, let's enjoy the moment, of course. Let's focus on being good first. And then for when it gets to that point where we're talking about draft and possibly declaring, I'll make the decision later. I'm assuming it'll probably be, hey, we're probably going to go to the draft if I'm a number 1 overall pick, right? It's kind of risky to go to college and potentially risk injury and all that good stuff. So the Rams could potentially find a future quarterback next year in Arch Manning if they find their way to get a top draft pick, of course, depending on how he plays next year, all that good stuff. A lot of things can vary in that sense. But if you're worried about him possibly not declaring because of what his grandpa said, he came out, shut that down, saying that we'll have to wait and see on what I end up doing and deciding ultimately in the future. Moving on from that, trivia of the day. My favorite part of the episode where I ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. For those who missed last episode's trivia of the day, this was the question we posed to everybody. We asked this question here. We said, which NFL franchise has appeared in the most Super Bowls? Not won the most Super Bowls, but has appeared in the most Super Bowls. We also gave you guys some multiple choice options as well as I try to find this real quick. If you missed this trivia of the day, you want to play with today's trivia of the day, play along in just a couple minutes here. But last episode's trivia of the day, this were the multiple choice options for you. Was it A, as I'm not finding it now, was it A, the Pittsburgh Steelers? Was it B, the Dallas Cowboys? Was it C, the New England Patriots? Or was it D, the San Francisco 49ers? Which NFL franchise appeared in the most Super Bowls in their history? A few of you guys played along with the trivia of the day. Always appreciate you guys for playing along. Here were the guesses on the last episode. We had Alan Wright saying, I believe the Pats been to the most Super Bowls. We had Floyd saying Pats. We had Thomas saying Titans of New York is such a much better name than the Jets. I kind of agree with you there. That was the last episode I was on trivia of the day, if you missed that. As for the quarterback situation, we have to trust the process. Agree with you there, Thomas. Then he says, I'm going to say the Patriots. And then Rams House says the New England Patriots. So all of you guys, 100% of you guys guessed the New England Patriots as a team that has appeared in the most Super Bowls. The correct answer is C. 11 times the New England Patriots have appeared in a Super Bowl. Obviously won 6 of those Super Bowls because of the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. So yeah, appreciate all of you guys for playing along. Appreciate all of you guys for getting it correct. Shout out to you, Alan. Shout out to you, Floyd, Thomas, Rams House. All of you guys for getting the correct answer for the trivia of the day. If you want to get a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest, just like these folks did on this episode, go ahead and play along with today's trivia of the day, which is this question here. Today's trivia of the day is, what team drafted John Elway before he refused to play for them? I feel like I might have asked something similar like this in the past. So if you're a long-time trivia of the day player, maybe you've seen this before, let me know. But if you haven't and this is new, don't let me know, just guess, I guess. What team drafted John Elway before he refused to play for them? The multiple choice options for you guys here on this trivia of the day are, is it A, the Denver Broncos? Is it B, the Miami Dolphins? Is it C, the San Diego Chargers? I'm just like messing up all this. Is it A, the Denver Broncos, B, the Miami Dolphins? Is it C, the San Diego Chargers? Or is it D, the Baltimore Colts? Again, what team drafted John Elway before he refused to play for them? Is it A, the Denver Broncos, B, the Miami Dolphins, C, the San Diego Chargers, or D, the Baltimore Colts? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're already watching all the way to this point and you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Press the subscribe button if you enjoy the content so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.